Hi, my name is Kaylin Datwyler, and welcome to my Capstone Symposium presentation. I interned at the Collaborative for Socio-Ecological Engagement, or COSE. My site supervisor was Madeline Ime, and my faculty advisor was Sarah McFarland. The title of my presentation is Environmental Education Resources: How to Make Children's Books More Accessible and Engaging. When looking at environmental education as a whole, it can be seen that it allows students from K through 12 to foster understanding and curiosity for ecological systems and sustainability issues. As well as place-based learning as a concept, it looks into incorporating students' ways of knowing with their local environment. These educational materials are incredibly valuable for all students to access. However, currently, many educational materials, specifically looking into children's books, do not support those with additional support needs and/or diverse learning styles. My project explored redesigning environmentally focused children's books to be more interactive, engaging, and accessible. My research question for my capstone project was, what are effective strategies to make books more accessible for teaching environmental education? To answer this question, I took my experience from interning at the Collaborative for Socio-Ecological Engagement, where I adapted 5 children's books to have interactive and adaptive pieces that students can engage with, in which an example of this can be seen in Figure 1. As seen in Figure 1, it showcases one of the adaptations that I made for my first book called Mushrooms Know. Above the question that is asked in this book is AAC symbols for those with additional support needs to engage with the question as well. Along with each children's book I adapted, I created a communication board for each of them. The communication boards are mainly for those with additional support needs to communicate and interact with the book's questions and activities. I also collected data on COSE's community library, analyzing the 26 books that they currently have and seeing what themes their books represent the most, as well as recommended age ranges for each book. Lastly, I conducted a literature review of 13 sources that each investigated environmental education and different strategies to incorporate environmental education into educational resources in the school setting. In my results, I found 4 different strategies that should be used or taken into consideration when making books more accessible for teaching environmental education. First, there needs to be an integration of place-based topics into educational materials. It can be seen that in my literature review that I conducted, all 13 sources stress the importance of utilizing place-based learning as it allows students to grasp the material more easily due to it being relevant and familiar to them, as it is their local environment. Students will be able to engage better with the material and apply their own ways of knowing as this follows their community that they are familiar with. Second, understanding students' needs is vital to making books and other education materials more accessible, as it takes into consideration the best way to teach students that they can engage with the material. This can be seen through incorporating the students' vocabulary that they are familiar with, as well as their ways of knowing and catering to the students' strengths. Third, it is important to incorporate interactive and adaptive pieces in children's books. When accessibility is prioritized in educational materials, this allows more students to be able to engage with environmental topics and learn about issues that they may become passionate about in the future. It is also necessary to incorporate augmentative and alternative communication, or AAC, which focus on accessibility of these materials to a broader range of students. Lastly, there needs to be an expansion of diverse environmental themes in children's books and other educational materials. Having a wide variety of themes can address multiple student interests. Figure 2 showcases that for COSE's Community Library, of their 26 books, the themes that are most represented are land ecosystems and humans as a part of nature. This figure can be used as a representation of how themes are currently augmented and where improvements need to be made in order to have equal access to all of these environmental themes. The 2 main takeaways from this research are that the best way to engage students is through understanding their ways of knowing and playing to their academic strengths, so that more students can enjoy environmental education resources. It is also important for children's books and other education materials to be adaptive and interactive by utilizing AAC, which can be seen in Figure 3, which showcases a communication board that I created for one of my books, Mushrooms Know, for a student who uses AAC to engage with. This accessibility fosters an interest and a sense of wonder in environmental topics that every kid should be able to experience. My results can help on a broader scale as well. For example, COSE's model of accessibility in adapting children's books and other educational materials can be used as a framework for other organizations and schools to use in environmental education programs, as well as having a diverse array of environmental topics and educational materials can increase a greater understanding of unique perspectives and experiences. This can then work towards a growing sense of respect and empathy for other groups of people. Lastly, having accessible materials that can be place-based allows students to become educated learners about local issues in their community and other parts of the world. Finally, I would like to thank my faculty advisor, Sarah McFarland, for her guidance in helping me with my research and for giving me useful advice. I would also like to thank my site supervisor, Madeline Ime, who supported and guided me throughout my internship, as well as Professor McDonald for leading all of us through this process. I also want to thank my friends for being here for me since this whole experience, especially Tegan, who has been by my side since we met at Admin Students Day. Lastly, I would like to thank my family and my mom for always believing in me and my dreams and supporting me through it all. Thank you so much.